All right, time for the final review of the QSP Penguin. Let me wipe the blade off a little bit. I actually just got done using this knife, cutting open some boxes. Still left the strip. I guess I had some tape on it too. There we go. Looks much better now. Again, I don't use this as much as I would on a day that I was at work probably, but I did use this knife quite a bit this week. Cut open quite a few boxes, packages, stuff like that I got in the mail. Cleaned the blade up, and then I just cut open another box, and this thing is still extremely sharp. Again, this is the smoothest knife I got out of all the knives I ordered, out of those $1,000 knives, and it was the cheapest knife. Yes, it is from China. A lot of people don't like that. I'm not a huge fan of it, but you're not going to get a knife with these materials made in the USA for under $30. It's not going to happen. You can hate on it all you want to, but this knife made in the USA would probably be closer to $100 or more for the materials that it uses. But as you can see here, I do have the bug out score still listed. I'm going to use this paper to take it off since this was the first knife that I actually reviewed. So let's get on with it. Carryability, as you can see, the bug out was a 10. The QSP is also a 10. And what QSP stands for, I did not know this. It actually stands for quality, service, and price. And from this knife, I believe that's true. If all their knives are as good as this one, the quality, service, and price pretty much stands up. Even made in China, like I said, you can knock it all you want to, but that right there holds true with this knife. At least my knife that I ordered, it holds true with, but it does hold true with my knife. Both a 10. Reason I gave it a 10 is look how deep that pocket clip is. It just vanishes, man. I meant to bring out some pants or some shorts or something to show you, but the pocket clip is actually higher than the actual scales are. So it actually just totally vanishes in your pocket. It's pretty amazing. It is a little bit heavier than the bug out, but it still does a very good job on carryability. It just vanishes. It's like 3 point some odd ounces. Next is Practicality, and I give it a 7. I gave the bug out a Practicality. I feel like the bug out lock is a little bit stronger than this stainless steel frame lock or liner lock is. The bug out isn't as smooth, but I just feel like the lock is more sturdy, so I did knock it a point for that. But this and the bug out is kind of hands in hands in the Practicality. Neither one of them is going to do, hard use folder work, but they're both great at EDC. Sliceability. This thing is a slicer. Just look at that, man. This thing is polished so smooth you can barely even see any marks in the blade at all, any grind marks or anything. This thing is a slicer. It does amazing work. I just sliced open a box just a few minutes ago, actually, right before I did this video, and this thing cuts through it like hot butter. It's 2 thumbs up for sliceability. Of course, the bug out got a 10. It's got a very thin blade. This one got a 10 as well. There'll be thicker blades that won't get 10, but for slicers, this and the bug out, they do a very, very good job. Next, holds an edge. Now, I gave the bug out an 8 because it was, I can't remember if it's S30 or I think it's S30. I don't think it's S35, but I gave it an 8. I gave this a 7, and I kind of want to tell you how I rank these. Blade HQ has a chart that tells you all the materials and stuff like that, and it shows you how well they hold an edge, and this is what they rank it. And they're metallurgists that put them charts up, and I have to kind of go with that. It's held an edge great. I do believe it will still shave. Yeah, it will definitely still shave. So I have to kind of go with hers. My wife's going to hate this. Oh my gosh, she's going to hate that right there. She'll notice that as soon as she gets home. But it holds an edge pretty well, but it's not going to hold it. This D2 is not going to hold it as well as like S30V or even M4 S110. Like I said before, those are super steels. I mean, they're going to hold an edge like crazy. The M4 does have a drawback, but the D2 is not going to hold it quite as good as the S30V. So it did get a 7, but it's held up very well in my testing so far. Warranty, I gave it a 6. And I didn't really understand what they said in the warranty. I didn't try to contact them, but they said it's not warranted under normal wear and tear. And I didn't like that being in there. If it has a lifetime warranty, I understand against craftsmanship and stuff, and I understand if you sharpen the blade and it gets up here, but if my lock wears out, they should cover my lock wearing out. They shouldn't, void the warranty because, hey, locks wear. They should, I know other companies will fix that. I just didn't like that. I guess for a $30 knife, you can't expect a ton. It is only $30. If you wear the knife out for $30, you can buy another one. But I didn't like that they worded that in there. So I did give it a 6 on warranty, whereas on warranty I gave it an 8 on the bug out. Push this up just a little bit. Next is materials, and I gave it a 5. And the reason I gave it a 5 is because it does have D2. D2 is nowhere near as good as S30, S35, S110. So it is not as good as a material for the blade as the bug out had and other knives had, so we had to knock it for that. But also it has steel liners. For $30, I don't expect to get titanium liners or anything like that. But you do have to knock it for this stuff. You can't say, hey, it's way up there, even though it's a $30 knife. We're not, banking this or ranging this or testing this on whether it's a $30 knife. We're testing it on the materials. And for a $30 knife, the materials are great, but overall, it does have steel liners, and the micarta could be better. I've seen a lot better micarta. My Ace Biblio, my Giant Mouse Ace Biblio has some awesome micarta scales, and this is on the cheaper end of the micarta in my opinion. Next is weight, and I gave it an 8. It's 3.17 ounces. That's a light knife. It's under 4 ounces. What can you say? It's not as light, of course, as the 2.3 ounce bug out. So we did knock it just a little bit for that, but it is still a super light EDC, great EDC knife in my opinion. And the weight is pretty awesome, but I did have to knock it a little bit because there are knives that are better. Cool factor, I gave it a 3. This is where it really tanked. If you pull this out of your pocket, your friends are not gonna be like, man, what is that thing? They're not gonna care. Now, if you put it in their hand and they feel how smooth this knife is, they might. But just looking at it, pulling it out of your pocket, you're probably not going to get asked a lot what knife you've got in your pocket if you pull this out, or what knife it is. It just looks like a normal EDC knife. There's nothing cool about this. There's nothing really great and cool about the brand or anything. I think it is the best knife under $30, but still yet, that doesn't make it a cool knife. It just makes it a very functional, good EDC knife. And cool factor tanked at 3. All right, next is fidget factor. I gave this a 10, man. It's a 10. It is a 10. It is awesome. I fidgeted with this knife the whole time I've had it. I can't put this knife down. Even when I was testing the bug out, I still fidgeted with this one, probably more than the bug out. I enjoyed fidgeting with the bug out, but and I know I spelled fidget wrong. I left out, I get it. But nonetheless, with my spelling aside, I've never been able to spell. The fidget factor on this is amazing. It is amazing. If nothing else, the only thing I think I like better than this is probably like a spider coast. You can reverse flip this as well. I don't know if I can do it on camera, but you can. There you go. You can reverse flip this, but it isn't as easy to do as, say, a spider coat Para 2. So it still gets a 10 because it is amazing, but there are a couple knives that I probably like a little bit better, but I can't put this down. I do have a Spyderco in for testing, and I still fidgeted with this one more than that one. So just because it's so smooth, it's just so smooth, I can't put it down. And the smoothness is probably why I fidget with it so much, and that is exactly why it got a 10. All right, I gotta be honest, you guys, I actually forgot a category, and I had it marked out here, and I put it up here, and when I copied all these down, I actually missed ease of use. So I don't know how that happened, but I missed it. So for ease of use, we go down here, I gave it a 9, and I actually gave the bug out, where are we at here? An 8. See, it's hard to find that with all this in it. An 8. because this knife is actually smoother opening than the bug out. It's a little bit easier to get it in and out of your pocket. I just think for ease of use, the QSP is actually a little bit easier to use than the bug out was. Now, I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but I honestly think it's actually easier to use. The thumb studs are easier to get to. The knife is smoother. It's easier to get in and out of your pocket. The lock, I don't have a problem with this lock. I don't have a problem getting to it. I think the way they did this cutout right here is pretty great to be able to get to that lock. So the lock, in my opinion, isn't as strong as the bug out, but for ease of use, for me, it's just as easy to use as the bug out was. So I actually gave it a 9 because of how smooth it is, and you can get to the thumb studs a little bit easier on this one than you can the bug out. So the actual final score is 75. And that was a little lower because I actually totally forgot a whole category. So it's actually 10 points less than the bug out. Still a respectable, very, very respectable score for a $30 knife. But it did come in just a little bit less than the bug out. Again, it's not as cool. It doesn't have as good of materials. It is, in my opinion, like I said, the best knife under $30. But when you take everything into consideration, it's still not as good a knife as the bug out, in my opinion. Let me know what you think about my rankings in the comment section below. Tell me if there's anything you would change. Again, I know it's made in China, but you can't get an American-made knife with these materials for under $30. You just can't do it, and you just have to live with the fact that it's made in China if you have a budget of that or want to spend $30 or less on a knife. I know some Kershaws make knives that are cheap, but they still don't come with this good of material. You don't get D2 blades in a lot of those. You don't get micarta on the handles and stuff like that. In my opinion, this is the best knife under $30. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think. I appreciate y'all watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.